We're now on lesson 8. Do not let your history be a mystery. You know, just like any other game, I believe that the pimping got a history. We talk about the pimping in my movie Pimpology. We go all the way back to the slavery days. We said that, I believe, and through my research, that one of the ways that pimping got really popular back in the day was, during the slavery time was, a lot of the masters used to go and sneak in there, and have sex with these women, these African American women or these African descent women. And they would have sex with them quite frequently. And their husbands or their mates will understand this. And what they would do is they would tell their mates, next time you go have sex with master, make sure that instead of master giving you one pork chop, make sure that master give you 2 pork chops. And this is where a system of manipulation began. You can go trace it back, there's many examples of this, it's not just me. And, when you see a lot of those brothers, in them horse and carriages, a lot of people thought that they were chauffeurs, but actually they was pimps. But prior to then, when they were in when they were actually enslaved, when they were in the position of slavery, when they were being controlled by their masters, and the masters was having sex with the women, they were called wimps. But after, those brothers were freed in 1865 through the Emancipation Proclamation by way of Abraham Lincoln, during Reconstruction, a lot of them began to, of course, exploit and prostitute their women. And as a result of that, you have what we call today pimps. So they went from wimps to pimps, and eventually, they had the houses and so on and so forth, So when I speak on the game, I always say, don't let your history be a mystery, because I remember long ago, I was talking to one of my OGs, named Jim Danny. He was telling me about all these great pimps from back in the day. And I would ask him, okay, well, where are they now? He said, it's a mystery to me. And that's how I came up with the concept, don't let your history be a mystery. So from that time on, I began to use every opportunity that I can. One of the ways that I kept my history from being a mystery was I would throw parties and I would put out thousands of flyers. I would put my name on the radio. I would, try to, make sure that I'm intertwined in all of the necessary scenes and the necessary events where my name would be remembered. And then I said, not only that, I said, when I get an opportunity, I'm gonna make sure that, I'll do my best. So, when I did Pimps Up, Hoes Down, I made sure that I shine. I made sure that I spit some of the most fabulous lines. I made sure that, people remember me. I made sure I was the sharpest dude on there. I had the custom mink, black and white mink, custom Rolex, custom jewels, custom chain, the suit. I had on this $2,500 made by Versace with 24 karat real gold buttons on it. I didn't want my history to be a mystery. I wanted people to remember me. And that's one of the reasons why I came up with the concept, is because I know that even when I was in college, every book that I read, it started with the history of, Maynard Keynes was the father of economics, and, Sigmund Freud was the father of psychology, Darwin was the father of evolution, and they always talked about these men, and, you learn about, some of the great paintings, you learn about Michelangelo. He painted the Sistine Chapel, and he painted the Mona Lisa. You learn about the history of all these people, and because these people made history, they are always remembered. People always know who they are. We talk about Malcolm X. Everybody knows who Malcolm X was and who Malcolm X is. Malcolm X history is not a mystery. We talk about the brother Martin Luther King. Just look at some of the great things he did in history. Some of the movements that he leadered, and some of the movements that he actually was involved in, and some of the struggles for African Americans in this country, how he was able to, take the plight of so-called Negroes at that time and put it on the forefront and get rid of, segregation and get rid of, violation of one's civil rights. And now, because of that, you have streets, Martin Luther King streets and Malcolm X streets all over America. These brothers' history is not a mystery. And that's why I say this chapter 8 is don't let your history be a mystery, because, if you in anything in life, I chose this life. I chose to be in the game. That's why my book is called The 48 Laws of Gaming, because I chose this life and because I elected myself to be in this game. Then I had to make sure that everything that I done and everything that I do be a history-making event. I'm always making history. This book that we studied out of, The 48 Laws of Game, this book is now in the Library of Congress. A million years from now, this book will be a part of history. That's what I mean by don't let your history be a mystery. I done features on albums, from Too Short all the way up to 50 Cent. And those albums and those songs are in the archives of history. And no matter what you say or how you look at it, you have to still admit that Ken Ivy, Professor Ken, is a part of the history of this country. I made history. I'm the only and the first person who ever became a soul intro and outro man for rappers all around the world. I done been on everybody's album. So that was history that I was making. So that's what the chapter means. Don't let your history be a mystery. And I want to read some of the chapter. We could talk about, it says of all things in the world, history is the only one that can record a man's life. History records our life. History let our children know what type of people we are. History let people know who might come from another planet, what our planet was all about. When we study the history of the Egyptians, we know that they built the pyramids. We know that King Zosa was the father of mathematics. We know that Imhotep, which his son, was the one who built the first of their pyramids. Yes, we know that Herodotus, even though he's really not the father of history, he's called the father of history, but we know that he couldn't have been the father of history because he was a Greek studying Egyptian history. But we understand this. We understand that he is considered to be the father of history. And if you go into my new book, The Art of Human Chess, or aka The Art of Pimpin', you will see that I gave up a lot of history in that book too. And I got several other books coming out. Pimp and Grow Rich is coming out. I got the book Rich Pimp, Poor Pimp coming out. I got the book Inside the Stable, Inside a Pimp's Stable. I got the book coming out called The Gambler. All these books are books that are going to reflect the history of the game as I see it. And that's what you have to do. You have to figure out how can you have an impact, because you want your life to be recorded. You want people to remember you. You want your children to know what type of person you was. It was not sufficient for me to be a dope fiend or to be a drug addict or to be a convict or to be a murderer or none of these things. I did not want my history to reflect that. I wanted my children to know, even though I came from humble beginnings and I came from the penitentiary, I was able to still do great things and write books and make movies and do albums with multi-millionaires and be around all these people and leave this as a history for my children to go back and look at. So whatever you're doing out there, if you're pimping, if you're a rapper, whatever you're doing, whatever brings you to this course, this 48 Laws of Game course, where you want to understand what's really going on and what this game is all about. Just remember, one game that you got to get, baby, is you can't let your history be a mystery. You got to record everything you do, baby, whether you do it through a DVD or book or whatever. Just make sure that you pop it fresh. The last thing you want to do is say, man, I was on this earth and nobody remembered me. Okay? So that's what this course is all about. That's what chapter 8 is all about. You can read it, further and go in depth, you know what I'm saying? It says, make sure you have done enough good or bad, they keep them talking. You got to keep them talking, baby. I'm gone, man. We're going to go, this is chapter 8. Don't let your history be a mystery. I'm going to chapter 9 now.